Now that the Rules Committee has ripped off the Band-Aid and axed 3 very expensive cards from the Commander format, I'm here today to tell you guys about a few cards that I would personally avoid purchasing in the near future in order to avoid the risk of taking a bath on expensive cardboard rectangles. So here we go. Jeweled Lotus, Mana Crypt, Dockside Extortionist. As you can see, they all plummeted in price. Jeweled Lotus plummeted off a cliff. Mana Crypt off a cliff. Dockside Extortionist. This one's a little bit of a weird graph. The other graph is more of off a cliff. But in any case, you can get this card for $30 Dockside. Jeweled Lotus, 58. Mana Crypt, 100. And you can probably get them cheaper in other places as well. So, scrolling back up, I'm going to open this tab here. We have cards that I would be very careful purchasing in the near future with the chance that they get banned in Commander. So here we go. This is sorted by price and legal in Commander from a booster, regular cards, not like the fancy version. So as we can see, the number one card in the thumbnail as well, the One Ring. This card has been talked about as a card that has potential to be banned in Modern as well as Commander. It is incredibly overpowered. It comes down, gives you protection from everything, and then draws you an obscene amount of cards, and it can go in any deck in Commander. This card is played in currently a crap load of decks in Commander. So the One Ring, here we go. Should have had all these pulled up. 7%, 285,000 decks in Commander. Didn't stop them from banning the other cards. So the number of cards, number of decks that a card is in does not anymore prevent it from being banned. Chrome Mox is an interesting one. I think that you could... It's a little bit of a risk. It is fast mana. Now, it is not the same fast mana as the Jeweled Lotus type cards of the world. So it to me is a little bit less of a risk. You have to get rid of a card. You're losing card advantage when you play it. So you could purchase this one, and it is I think it might be banned in Modern. But in any case, this one to me is a little bit lower of a risk than the One Ring. The One Ring is the number one card that I would avoid buying in the near future for Commander purposes only. If you have other purposes, fair enough. Ancient Tomb. This one is actually an interesting. I thought about putting it on the thumbnail. Ancient Tomb is also fast mana. It taps for 2 mana, or two colorless mana, deals 2 damage to you as a land. No other downside besides the 2 damage. I could see the Rules Committee maybe banning this in the future. I wouldn't put it super high on the radar. It's in the the 200s on the salt score here. So Ancient Tomb. I mean, it's pretty far down. Salt score 1.38. As you can see, it's about halfway down the page here of tons of cards. So highest is 3.1 out of 4. So Ancient Tomb, we'll see. Not super salty. It is fast mana. Question mark, questionable. It's super expensive right now at the moment. It's like $100, 86, 90 bucks. Yeah, I mean, I'd wait for a reprint on that one in any case. Mox Opal, other fast mana. Only for artifacts, though. Only 1 mana. This one's probably fine. Shielder probably fine. Most of these are actually not too bad. There's really just a few cards I wanted to mention. So number 1, the One Ring. Number 2, maybe not in order, but Ancient Tomb and Chrome Mox, Mox Opal. Just be a little bit aware of these, especially Ancient Tomb. I think has a higher chance than the others of getting banned. These others are expensive, Imperial Seal, but I don't see that getting banned. So here we go. Mana Vault. People talk about Mana Vault. This card is fast mana. It's a little bit of a ritual. It's like a colorless dark ritual. I'm not really sure how I feel about Mana Vault. This one is a salt score 1.65. I could see it. It's a little bit higher salt than the Ancient Tomb. It is very explosive, but you can only use it once. It is not as good as Jeweled Lotus in the sense that it's 1 mana versus 0 mana, and it deals damage to you, and you have to pay to untap it and stuff. So, this one, I don't know. This is questionable. It's fast mana, so I'd just be careful. If you can get it for a reasonable price, I mean, this is like $100. It's just, yeah, you know. So here we go. This is one of the Double Masters ones, $80. I'd wait on it. I'd wait on Mana Crypt. Too risky. Great Henge, very expensive. I don't think they're going to ban it. Here we go. Scrolling down. Fast mana. Orcish Webmasters. This is a talk about in Modern. I don't know if it's really going to be banned in Commander. I don't think so. Free counter spells, I don't think those are, with the exception of perhaps Fierce Guardianship that could get banned. Rhystic Study, here we go. This card is insane. I have whole videos on this. This, I feel, is next on the chopping block, in my personal opinion. Other people have agreed. Sam Black, I believe, said that he wanted Rhystic Study banned as well. People on MTG Goldfish podcast want this card banned. It's currently going for about $40, give or take. I would avoid buying this in the near future. This card here is just... the prime target for a ban from the Rules Committee, in my opinion. I know members of the Rules Committee really like it. It's not fast mana, but it does bog the game down, and it is an obscene amount of card draw for very little effort on the part of the player. So Rhystic Study, I would avoid in the thumbnail as well. Scrolling down, I think we're actually getting close to the end here of cards that I would avoid. Fierce Guardianship, I'm just going to mention. The free spell cycle here, Deflecting Swats, Fierce Guardianship, there's potential. Maybe only if, like, if, for example, CEDH splits off into another format, they might do something with these cards. I have no idea. I'm not a CEDH expert, but just be careful with the Fierce Guardianship Deflecting Swats. These are currently sitting at 37, about $40 or so for a Fierce Guardianship. Just be careful with that one. Actually, I think we're getting really close to the end here. Really, it's just a few cards that I wanted to warn against. Some of the fast mana cards, Rhystic Study. Those are the main ones. Now, actually, if we go to the reserve list cards, let's go to reserve list. This is kind of an interesting topic because reserve list cards are very strong and bannably strong in some cases. Mox Diamond is bannably strong. It's fast mana. It's similar to Chrome Mox up here. As I go back one page, similar to Chrome Mox in a sense. This is a non-artifact, non-land card. Mox Diamond is a land card. Mox Diamond is probably stronger than Chrome Mox, in my opinion. But these are fast mana. They're very explosive, very powerful. If you combine them together, you can have crazy starts in the game, especially with the Soul Ring, which is currently not banned, and they don't plan to ban it in the future. Now, Gaia's Cradle. This is the #1 reserve list card that I would avoid buying for commander purposes only. I mean, they banned a $200 card in Mana Crypt, so what's to stop them from banning, you know, what's the difference? $800, $200? You know, I mean, at that point, you're a whale anyways, so I don't know if they're going to do this. They should. It's overpowered in Commander. If Tolarian Academy is banned, Gaia's Cradle should also be banned. And so, too, should Sarah's Sanctum, which is right here. Sarah's Sanctum, this card is currently at $200 plus. More, I wouldn't say fast mana, but like ridiculous amount of mana on a land. You can't counter it. It's just like, yeah. These cards should not be legal in Commander, in my opinion. Now, they have a high price. They have high collectability. They have high prestige. Reserve list is you know, people love it, people hate it, but it's here. So, Gaia's Cradle for sure. Sarah's Sanctum as well. I would avoid buying these off the reserve list. Unless you're trying to speculate long-term on reserve lists, which, I mean, that's up to you. I'm not an expert on that. Go watch the guy with the funny hat. You know what I'm talking about. But, yeah, so Metalworker is another one here. This is also makes a lot of mana, but is restricted to just the artifact decks. That's an interesting one. I think there's also a Mishra's Workshop up here somewhere. But, yeah, there's... Time Twister is interesting. Like, this is a power 9, like... If the Rules Committee wants to be consistent, they could ban this as a power 9. It is not as strong as the others, but they could certainly do so. Mishra's Workshop, this is fast mana for artifact decks. I could see this potentially getting the axe in the future. If they're really gonna do it, I mean, they could do it. Now this this is a whole other ballpark, even from Gaia's Cradle. This is $2,400. I don't know if they would do that. I think at that point, at the point of them banning Gaia's Cradle, Mishra's Workshop, they would probably just make like a separate they would separate Commander into another format and just ban the reserve list entirely from the format. I'm personally in favor of that notion. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. I think it should happen, but it's tough. It's tough. Players, I mean, if you think players are mad now, imagine the entire reserve list getting banned. Because, like, I mean, think about it. Reserve list is just it's some boomer shit. It's pulling up the bootstraps or pulling up the ladder behind you and telling everybody to pull themselves up by the bootstraps. And it's just like new players cannot access these cards responsibly. So just if you think that these are long-term playable game pieces for Commander, I would just be careful. I'd be careful. I don't know. I don't have any information, no information on this, but reserve list cards, I think, are a little bit risky if you're buying them only for Commander purposes, for gameplay purposes. Now, investing, that's a whole other animal again. I mentioned that earlier. So, yeah, there's a few of these that I'd just avoid, mostly the ones that make a lot of mana, the fast mana stuff, the stuff that's crazy overpowered like Rhystic Study. And, yeah, you know, I just want to know what you guys think about this. Cards to avoid after these bombshell bans in Commander. What do we think? Should some of the Salt cards be banned as well? This is another question. or not banned, but some of these should they be avoided as a purchase? For example, I mean, this is only $5. Like Turgid, I could see them taking Turgid and Yuriko out to pasture, wherever Yuriko's at. But yeah, like this, I could see that happening. But it's not going to destroy your wallet. Thassa's Oracle is another big one. If you want to waste $20 on the, and, you know, I mean, it's only $20, so if it gets banned, it's not the end of the world. But yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think that it is too risky to buy cards such as the One Ring, such as Rhystic Study, Gaia's Cradle, Ancient Tomb? What do we think about this? Mana Vault. Are any of these cards too risky at this point to buy? Should you just proxy them? What is the solution to this new paradigm that we appear to be in with the Rules Committee? So yeah, let me know in the comments, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and until next time.